we're here at Jim's today. We're gonna do some insulation work. He's got a ranch house here and he's sitting on 3 acres and it's on a hilltop and it's windy and his last electric bill was just out of control. So we went down into his basement and all his duct work is not insulated and the basement is not insulated.
Heat on. It's not blowing.
Crank that sucker up.
Let me get on this side so you can see what you're looking at.
I see Daddy's hat.
Yeah. I hear it kicking.
Alright, so we're gonna measure the heat coming out of this. It's blowing.
It says we're hitting about 58 degrees coming out of here. Okay.
Check one that's real far in the back room. So that's right, this side of the house is right by the heater. Let's go as far down as we can.
Oh, that one's not even on.
This is going to be the coldest, Jen.
Whoa. Yeah, but that one's not even on.
Let's see what this is.
Yeah, so go on our
Can you feel it coming out?
Yeah, heat's coming out. 54 degrees.
And what was the one?
58 degrees.
So it loses some temperature, but
It's still only coming out at 54 degrees though.
Yeah,
How
I
are you
know.
supposed to heat your house to
Yeah.
72 when it's coming out at 54 degrees?
yeah, how's that even possible when the air is?
So that's probably why our auxiliary heat kicks on, because it doesn't have enough power to get the temperature high enough,
To heat the
because it's
house?
25 degrees outside, to even heat up our house.
Yeah,
So
it's constantly running because it's only coming out at 55 degrees.
the temperature never goes up.
Yeah.
We try to make it go up and the temperature stays stagnant at like 66, 67 degrees. We can't get it to go higher than that
And that's why you got such a high electric bill, because it's running nonstop.
at all time.
So we'll try to wrap that stuff and see if it makes a difference.
We'll see if the temperature rises.
So here's the heater system, and it is pretty cold down here and in the basement, because this back wall isn't like a true basement. It's like he's got a walkout basement down here. So this wall is exposed to the outside and it's not insulated at all. And here's his main ductwork that runs down the house. And then you'll see the ducts that go to each bedroom coming off. And I think what's happened is when you get all the way back here to the bedrooms on the back side of the house, from there all the way down, by the time it feeds to the rooms, he's lost a lot of heat. So it's cooled down by the time it gets to those rooms. So we're going to try to insulate these ductworks here, and then the actual ducts that go to branch off to go to each room. And he started already with one of these. So he's stapled on some insulation. And what R is it, Jim? 15? Yeah,
R15.
R15. So he's done this one already, stapled that on, and started on this one here. So that's what we're going to do for the ducts that are tucked up inside the rafters. We're just going to staple some R15 onto it. But this big giant one, end of return, we have the big sheets of the cuttable aluminum backed insulation that we're going to try to fit around all this, and we'll see how much money. Jim, how much money did all this cost so far?
So I think the first trip was $200 and this one was about $100. So $300 in material, but if it can drop our bill
Yeah.
a good amount per month, because right now it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We'll probably get our money back in 4 months.
Right. So, and that's with air conditioning too in the summer. So for $300, we're going to try to get this all wrapped up here and see if the next month's electric bill, if you save some money on the next electric bill, if it makes a difference. But will you have your thermometer with you?
Yeah.
So just zap on this thing and just, what the heck's it?
Right when it comes out, it's coming out, it's saying the metal is 50 degrees.
You degrees because it's cold down here in the basement. So just because it's cold down here in the basement, it's really, it's losing the heat. It's trying to heat the basement just through radiating through here. And let's zap all the way down the other end here.
As the air goes down, I'm assuming the metal is cold the whole way down. So as it comes down, the metal is cooling the hot air the whole way down our house.
Right.
So this side gets like kind of warm. And then as you get further in the house,
It's cooling
it
off.
starts cooling off.
What's it say? Because it's blowing right now. So let's work. Let me see what it says.
48
So
degrees.
we already down 47. So you're around 2.2 degrees already. And we're probably, we're only 15 feet away. So
Now let's get about 30 feet.
yeah, what's it say now?
It's still around the same.
47, 48, 47.
So it's same amount from there to there.
And it's still blowing. Now we're down to the end.
45.
Down to 45 degrees.
So I lost 5 degrees.
So he's lost 5 degrees on the stretch. Now here's the last room. It branches off here over to here. And it necks down a little bit.
I don't know how it went up.
45, yeah.
Maybe because it condensed the air.
Yeah, it's
into that small
turboing it.
tube.
Check this one above this door because I saw the draft. But I saw that your cobwebs blowing down there by the bottom of the door. So
40.
40 degrees, and it is cold. This is the coldest part.
So that spare bedroom that we have right there
It's the
has
coldest.
always been the coldest room.
And that's why, because it's right above this door here. And we definitely got to wrap this. We probably need to wrap this and the 2 rafters beside it.
Yeah, probably.
So if we have extra, we'll do that. All right, so let's get started with this. So he's cleaning off the top side of the ductwork because when we hold this up in here, when we put it up here, we're gonna have to tape it to the top of the ductwork. And if it's dusty or something, the tape's not gonna.
If we can see, like there's a piece going up there, but what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off the top right here so that the tape will stick.
So those 2 are already blocked off right there. He's gonna have to stick his hand up into where he put the insulation and wipe off there so we can get some tape on this thing. All right, so Jim's got his little thermometer there, the little heat thing, and we put up just the first section, taped it on real good to the main stack, got it up on the 2 sides, taped all the seams down, and we're working on this second piece here. But zap this real quick. This is
Touch
crazy.
the metal and we feel like it got warmer
For the
already.
first time, we touched the metal.
51.6 degrees, which is hotter than it was before because I'm pretty sure it was 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's already up 1.5 degrees.
And we just set that piece on there. We just put it on, so it was probably really warm if we would have touched it back here.
Well, yeah, and because we not only did we attach this whole thing, we finished that one,
Yep.
and then that one's done. So there's nothing to stop it from
So,
being
yeah,
warm,
so
except for
Yeah,
on
we're
the
gonna
top of it. We're gonna have to figure something out because
we're gonna have to stuff insulation up on the top.
vent touches what are those 2x8s?
They're
It
bigger
touches
than
the
that.
2x
Yeah, you
2x8s,
can't.
2x12s.
We can't get the boards up on the top of it. We can't slide a piece across the top. We'd have to make a million little pieces. So we're just going to stuff insulation.
Just putting it like this and stapling it to the side, straight up to the roof.
And then we got this little gap, in between here. So I think we'll just stuff insulation in there too. But yeah, so far it's already working.
Oh, it's actually holding pretty good now.
Yeah, it's down 45 now, so it's not as bad. That's because it doesn't have to go very far now. But when the insulation stops right there, so just this stretch right here it's helping already. It was down to like 43 degrees down here. Now we're holding it like, I think we saved 5 degrees already, but once this thing's already done, we'll probably be up to like 15 degrees.
We have the bottom and the sides done, but there's nothing on the top. So before it was just the cold air was wrapping around it. Now it's only touching the top. So we're gonna now take the temperature on the top of the metal to see maybe what kind of temperature it's holding inside until the end. So I'm gonna jump up here and see.
All right. Can you show me it on the thing? Oh, it's recording.
All right, so let's see. So now, if we're hitting the top of the metal, it's at 62.7 degrees. So it looks like the metal. It looks like the metal inside. Well, the metal now with it wrapped, it's holding around 62 degrees.
And that's only on 3 sides so far. Well, let's measure the top at the end too.
I feel like it's always going to be slightly hotter on top.
It's always going to be hotter on top, but down here where there's no insulation, what's it say now?
It is sitting at, hold on, 56 degrees.
It's from 62 down to 56. So it's definitely losing.
So the top is always going to be hotter because the heat
It's
wants
on
to
the
sit
top. But it's colder.
But it's still losing heat as it comes down.
Right. And that's with only 3 sides so far. So once we totally wrap it,
It should
and it's getting easier for it to hold the heat down here because it's half insulated already. So.
Yep.
And once we get it all the way down, even without the top done, it's going to be even warmer here. So.
Yeah.
All right, we did all the main duct work all the way down. Dropped it down. And this side was pretty much open. It just had a cap on it. So we insulated all the way to the end down there, and it's holding it held the same temperature all the way down to here. So that was good. And then Jim put all his sides on. You can see all the sides, but we ran into one funky thing here. This one duct wasn't a standard duct because of all the piping for the bathroom. This is the heat duct for the bathroom right here. So it comes out like this, then it drops down because it has to get over top of some pipes that are crossing it. Then it gets to here and it tries to scoop its way back up to like a neck down to a tube, which eventually goes up into the wall to heat the room. And there's all kind of stuff there. So what we're going to do, or what I'm doing, is I'm fabricating with the insulation, I'm making a drop down on each side, all the way down on both sides of that rafter. It's going to hang down flush with this ductwork. And then I'm going to put a bottom across it like that and tape it all up. So it'll look like one of those. It's just going to look like a square going across. But all up in here, before I close it off, Jim's going to stuff insulation all around there, especially by that wall, the edge of the house. So he's going to fill that with insulation until it gets to there, and then it's just going to be a regular duct all the way. And this is all done here. We're working on the return down this end. So this is the return, the air that's going back into the heater and we still have some boards left. So we're working our way out just like before, and we're going to insulate this one all the way down until we run out of those boards. And he is putting insulation, see if you can see, up above there. So you can see it. Now the light's messing up, but he's jamming insulation above it, and it's flush with the ductwork here. So he's blocking off each one of these rafters, kind of like this is, but with insulation instead, above every one of these all the way down, so that the tops of this duct, the hot air is not going to go up and seep out over top of this. So, and that'll be it. All right, so we just did all the duct work, and now Jim's got the temperature gun and he's zapping the top of it. Before we started, you hit the top of that, and what was the temperature of the top of the ductwork?
I believe it was 62 degrees.
All right, so what is it now?
So now, if we hit it now,
That's after all the insulation.
it says 74.8.
So almost 75 degrees now, from
So-
62 to 75 by insulating all the bottom.
Yeah, so it is
It's,
way up there.
so it's working
Yeah, it's like 12 degrees hotter on the top
than it was.
than it was before.
And then once we pack it all with that insulation, it's really going to hold the heat in there.
Yeah.
So the air flowing through that whole ductwork all the way down the house is going to hold a higher temperature before it goes upstairs
And then we'll be able to do the test from the actual
from the air coming out. Yeah.
actual air coming out.
All right, cool. All right, I'm in the middle of boxing this out here. This stinking one took more time trying to make this, and it's all stuffed on in there with insulation now, except for this part. We're not going to put insulation in right here because it's pretty close to the main duct there. But just fabricating it, I held it up with screws at first just to keep it in place, and then the tape actually sticks to the rafters, to the wood. So it's on there pretty good, and then we'll take the screws out. And then it had a double rafter right here, which made me had to widen it a little bit right here for this last stretch, but that's almost done. One more piece for that, and Jim's working on doing above the return now. So he's working on the return on his way down. And we still got this long straight stretch to do, and that's it. And we've got 3 boards left to do it with. All right, so this is like our last little bit right here. We're just filling in this gap in between here to make one big solid, look at that, one solid ductwork all the way down. The return on that side, and then the heat actually that goes out is each individually wrapped. But then with that gap that was in the middle, we stuffed it, and we're going to take it all the way down and make this one big giant ductwork because it just looks better. But this is as far as we got. We just need that little piece, one more piece there, and then another scrap to finish that right there, and we'd be done. And it looks pretty good, actually. We got to get the thermometer and see if it made any difference. But you can see even above it, see how he put looks pretty good. Insulation above each one, all the way down. And now that's flush on this side, but because we had the main beam here, he went up above it, and the insulation is set back above there, so it's wrapped all the way around. All right, let's go check and see what the heat is coming out of this thing. All right, it took us all stinking day to do what we did, but now when we ran out, let's hit the thing now and see what it is. 70. So now it's 70 degrees. And what was it?
58.
It was 58 blowing nonstop.
So
And-
now that's a 12 degree increase.
Wow, just by that, and we're kind
Just from
of
doing that, and we're
not
done
even
yet.
really done. So it definitely did something. That was the first vent that we checked. Did we check another one too?
Yeah, we checked the one in my bedroom.
Oh, all the way in the back, the very back room. Let's see. That's the one that we got to make sure it.
Well,
I can feel it's warmer already.
It's warmer.
All right, so this is the back bedroom, furthest from the heater, and I
can hear it better now.
You can.
It's
Oh, you can
blowing out.
actually hear it blowing. That's
It's
good.
actually blowing.
Moving the curtains. Wow.
So let's say 66 degrees.
So it cooled down from 70 to 66 average.
Yeah, 66. So
It
it
lost.
only dropped 4 degrees.
It dropped. Yeah.
4 degrees from the front of the house to the back of the house. And I'm pretty sure when we checked this one,
It was colder than it had to be colder than the first one.
I think it was 53.
So wow, that really worked. And it's blowing harder because I know we just insulated, but as we were doing the insulation, the joints of all the duct work were leaking because they didn't tape anything. So when our hands were up there and we were feeling the elbows and all the joints, we taped everything. So it's a confined airspace flowing through those vents now because everything was. We cut it all off. We taped it all up. So
it was losing a lot of air.
Yeah.
It was pretty much heating
the basement. And that end cap, they just screwed a cap on that end vent all the way to the end, and
It had holes right out the
yeah,
back.
and the air was just blowing right out the back. So we completely taped it off and then insulated it, so you can actually feel the
stronger.
air.
Now the only thing I'll have to do probably is like right here. tape
Yes,
around these
yes,
edges.
I did that at my house. So those edges, I taped all those edges. See the crack there
Yeah, right here.
in between your wood and all.
Yeah.
I taped that, and I let it like roll over onto your floor a little bit because this will
Yeah,
cover.
it'll cover up a little bit. And so the thing is, before I could see, now there's insulation on the bottom.
Yeah.
But before I could look through here and
see the
into my
basement.
basement.
Yeah, that's not good. So that's good. So you said it was about $300 for this job, right?
Yeah.
And well, we're 2 boards short. You're 2 boards short.
Two
so
boards short. I think they were $20 a piece. So
another 40. So 350 at the max. 340.
probably.
And we'll see
But
how much it saves on your next
It
bill,
looks
though.
like the house should be warmer, and we're gonna hope that our heat stops going into oxy.
Yeah.
So if it's running better, the air is hotter going out.
Yeah.
Now it's hotter going back
in because we insulated the return.
Maybe the pump won't have to try as
hard.
hard to be heating air up. So
Yeah.
we'll see if my bill for next month drops significantly from the month before.
And if the next time you get some more money, because we made that all one big solid vent, we could double it up. We could put another
yeah, we can put another
layer of that board on there, and
It'll be the temperature from
Oh,
all the way in there.
well, that's a good point. Those boards that we put on there, what's the R factor of those boards?
They were R6s.
R6. Well, that doesn't sound like much, but
No, but I mean, it definitely
made a
raised
difference.
12 degrees in the living room.
right,
What is
Minus 4,
53 to 66.
yeah, is whatever that is. So,
Whatever that is.
so yeah, R6 made a difference, and if we double it up, you'll have an R12 coming off of those. So that'll.
Yeah, so that was 12 degrees. This is 13 degrees.
So we'll see what the next bill is first.
Yeah, see if it was worth it.
So that's it, guys. That took all day, but
All day.
all right. And we'll find something else to do.